Would you dare mock the king to his face and still walk away alive? In the Middle Ages, only one person could do that, the court jester, but he wasn't just a clown with a funny hat. He was the only one with royal permission to speak truths that could get anyone else beheaded. While the nobles shook with fear, the jester used humor as a weapon. He cracked jokes, mocked absurd decisions, and even exposed the king's mistakes, all with applause from the court. But be careful. One step too far, and it could mean a quick trip to the gallows. This clown was actually a political mastermind. Sharp, clever, and with the sharpest tongue in the palace. Some, like Triboulet, became legends for dodging death with the right joke at the right time. In the Middle Ages, laughter was serious business, and those who knew how to use it could be more powerful than a general, because the jester was the only one speaking truth in a world built on lies.
At 6 years old, she was promised to a king, and that's not even the worst part. Isabel of France was forced to marry Richard II of England, a man who was 28, and that wasn't a scandal, it was tradition. In the Middle Ages, being a princess wasn't a privilege, it was a sentence. Girls were married off between the ages of 12 and 18, and their fate was sealed to get pregnant. But childbirth back then looked more like a sacrificial ritual. No anesthesia, no hygiene, no doctors, just midwives, screams, and prayers. When the baby got stuck, the only option was a cesarean. But how to stitch her back up? They couldn't. The surgery was done only after the mother had to try to save the baby, or at least baptize it before it also died. Princesses died young, alone, and in silence. And the luxury of the castle meant nothing compared to the pain that came with the crown. In the Middle Ages, the greatest danger for a princess wasn't war, it was childbirth.
You thought popes were always wise and calm role models? Well, there was one who traded sermons for wild parties. Benedict IX was elected pope at just 11 years old. That's right, a child leading the church, and the result was one of the most chaotic periods in Vatican history. Accounts from the time describe a young pope more interested in fun than in doctrine. Meetings turned into feasts, and temples into party halls. It didn't take long for other clergy to start questioning. Was he really ready for this position? But he wasn't the only one surrounded by controversy. Years later, Pope Julius III raised eyebrows for an unusual friendship. He traveled, lived with, and often appeared beside a young man he claimed was his adopted nephew. That alone was strange, but what shocked people even more was when the boy was made a cardinal while still a teenager. These episodes became a symbol of how power, in the wrong hands, can turn even the most sacred places into a stage for confusion and favoritism.